So I got this question the other day from one of the people that I work with, and they were asking me, they go, how do you make it through the challenging times? Like, how do you stay happy through it all, like on your way to trying to achieve whatever? And that's a really good question. And, in our minds, I want to talk about a concept of in our minds, like when we're trying to picture the horizon, like, when you look out and you see, let's say you're at the ocean and you see the sky kind of meet the ocean, right? Well, that's the horizon. The horizon really doesn't exist. That's just a representation of, from your vantage point where the sky is actually hitting the water. Same thing with land. You see land until the sky hits the land, but the sky never touches the land. But that's what the horizon is. But in our minds, when we think about that, the horizon in our minds is like one of my coaches that taught me, Dan Sullivan, is called the ideal. And we have this ideal horizon in our mind of what we're supposed to achieve or be in different areas of our life. But then in our minds, there's like actually where we're at, okay? So there's like actual one, actual two, and then we have this ideal, that's this horizon thing, right? And my point is this, is that people that try to live their lives to the ideal and they think that's an achievement, they'll always be unhappy, like all the time. Because that's what they're doing mentally, to carve that out and imagine what that horizon is. But remember, the horizon doesn't exist. It's something that we have in our mind. It's something that's a physical representation of when the sky meets the land or the sky meets the ocean, which never ever happens, okay? And so now you might be saying, well, wait a second, that sounds negative. No. Okay, there's two things in our minds. We have actual, like where we're at, then we have actual two, which is where we're trying to go, but then we have this ideal, okay? But the happy people are the people that go, okay, I know where I'm at, and now I want to achieve this goal here, and they have a goal, like they actually write it down. There's so many people that we make up goals in our heads, but things in our mind are changing all the time. And once again, there's that ideal in our head again that's kind of taking the majority of the space in our head of where we want to go. So if you set that goal, which is your actual two, so actual one is where you're at, actual two is like your goal, okay? Don't try to get to the ideal, because we'll never get there. But it's also good to live our life as far as let the ideal be the compass. Like we want to head that direction, and that's like our entire lives, we just head that direction because that's a healthy direction to go, where you're the type of person that loves to help people. You want to serve the world. You want to do something that helps the world. That's a good horizon line. That's a great ideal to have, right? But then there's some of us in our businesses, like we're in a sales business or something, and the ideal is this ungodly, crazy, I'm talking about crazy, that you're comparing yourselves to someone that's been doing it for 20 years, way before you did. It creates this, it's called a gap. There's a gap where you are and where your ideal is. And that's a major gap. And if you live in the gap, you're going to be unhappy. And so you have to enjoy the process of where you're going to your actual two, which is your actual goal, not the ideal. And I'm going to repeat myself a few times here because it took me a little bit to get it, but it really made sense to me. It's like, man, yeah, I do have these ideals in my head of the kind of body I'm supposed to have, or the weight, or the way I'm supposed to act, right? Or the way my business is supposed to be. And there's all these ideals that we make up in our heads. And guess what? They're all made up in our heads, okay? But we have to realize, and I hope, watching this video, listen to this podcast, it really helps you realize, okay, the ideal is your ideal. And if it helps you get in a direction that's healthy for you, that's getting you towards your actual two, which is your goal, okay, that's good. But if your ideal is causing you unhappiness every single day, it's causing you unhappiness in your relationships, like you have this ideal of where the relationship's supposed to go, but that's in your head, and you're trying to guess your mate's ideal. And so the key thing is to communicate and figure out what is, have them watch this video, watch it together, okay? There's where you're at, actual one, then where you want to go, your goal, that's actual two, and then you have this ideal, okay? Let the ideal get you in the right direction, but let the actual two be your goal, okay? And once again, I might get some confusing comments on this or whatever, but I just want you to understand that the ideal is made up. The ideal is the horizon. The horizon's there when you see it, but you go another 100 miles, guess what? There's another horizon. You never actually get there. I want you to understand the distinction here isn't oh, Jefferson, you're saying don't set lofty goals? No, I'm not saying that. There's the ideal that we have in our head of what we think could be possible, and we're thinking so far out that we cause ourselves to not even try because, oh, there's no way I can hit that ideal. Or, I don't even know if I'm constantly falling short. I'm constantly missing the mark all the time. So I'm constantly unhappy. And so you kind of blame yourself for this ideal in your head, and you don't even call it an ideal. You just have these thoughts in your head. And I'm raising my hand because this was me for many, 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 many years. And I'm a high achiever. We're all high achievers. I mean, that's why you're watching the video. And yes, I still catch myself in that situation as, oh man, I'm kind of bummed that it didn't work out. But then I realize I got to think about it and go, okay, is that my ideal? Or was that really a goal that I wrote down and put specific, dates to when I want to do it and broke it down in chunks of how I'm going to get there, all that kind of stuff? That's what you have to do. And so, but some of us are collapsing like a goal and the ideal to be the same thing. Those are two different things. Okay, but if you don't write down your goals, it's probably your ideal that you'll never get there. So you got to write them down, chunk them up, be specific on when you want to get there, and do your goals involve other people? And if you accomplish your goal, does it actually help other people? That's another thing that'll really, I think, make us happier in life and be able to experience more joy when the goals that we're working on achieving actually involve other people and impact other people in a positive way. So hopefully that helps you today, and set those goals and understand an ideal is there to help you with direction, and that's great. But with that said, I hope to help you arrive at your next intended destination, healthy, wealthy, and happy.